Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Merci de vous joindre à nous ce matin, sur place ou par web diffusion. Thank you for joining us this morning, both on site and through our webcast. Je suis Chantal Schreier, vice-présidente aux affaires de la Société au Musée canadien de l'Histoire. We are very excited and proud to welcome you all to this unveiling event. We have reached major milestones in the development of the museum's signature exhibition, the Canadian History Hall. This morning's program will unfold as follows. First, the museum CEO, Mr. Mark O'Neill, will say a few words, followed by the museum's original architect, Mr. Douglas Cardinal, and then we will hear from the museum's Director General, Monsieur Jean-Marc Blais. Après les allocutions, vous serez invités à faire une courte visite de l'aire d'exposition actuellement en construction. And now I think that we are ready to begin, and I will invite Mark to the podium.
Merci, Chantal. And in the background, it seems we're also going to hear from some of the visitors to the Children's Museum, so here today at the museum. Mesdames et messieurs, merci de vous joindre à nous ce matin. Je suis enchanté de pouvoir vous parler de l'exposition la plus importante que le musée ait mise sur pied depuis son ouverture il y a de cela 25 ans. First, I wish to extend a special welcome to Dr. Christopher McCreary and Professor Michael Bliss, two members of our Board of Trustees who are here today, and they sat on one of the several working groups advising on the Canadian History Hall. And I'd also like to welcome Professor Tim Stanley and John Moses, who are with us here today, who also sat on several of the advisory groups that were so beneficial to us and continue to be in developing this great history hall. Today is a big day for my colleagues, several of whom are with us, and for our corporation. This morning's unveiling represents a key milestone in the creation of the Canadian History Hall. We're very excited and proud to show you how far we've come since the initial announcement of this project over 3 years ago already. 2017, as you know, is going to be an extremely important year for Canadians and many organizations, including the Canadian Museum of History. En 2017, nous soulignerons le 150e anniversaire de la Confédération. En tant que Musée national d'histoire, nous sommes très fiers de jouer un rôle de premier plan dans les célébrations de cet important anniversaire. The museum's mandate is to enhance Canadians' knowledge, understanding, and appreciation of the events, experiences, people, and objects that reflect and have shaped Canada's history and identity. It should come as no surprise that this anniversary is so important to us. As you will see momentarily, the development of the Canadian History Hall, the centerpiece of our contribution to 2017, is well underway. And when it officially opens on July 1st, 2017, the hall will occupy about 40,000 square feet of exhibition space. It will cover approximately 15,000 years of Canadian history from the dawn of human habitation right to the present day. The Canadian History Hall will be monumental in size and scope. But boiled down to its essence, the exhibition is going to explore how the Canada we know today came to be, and it will help Canadians see the relevance of history in their own lives today. The stories that visitors will encounter in the hall were included because of their connection to contemporary Canada, and these stories will shed light on how the events of the past have helped to shape the country we live in today. La salle de l'histoire canadienne démontrera l'influence de la politique, de l'économie, de la géographie, de la relation humaine, des entreprises culturelles et des forces mondiales sur ce pays et la vie de ses citoyens. Ce sera l'occasion de mettre en valeur de nombreux trésors historiques du pays. La salle présentera l'histoire canadienne sur le plan humain. Il s'agira surtout d'une exposition portant sur de vraies personnes, leurs luttes et leurs réalisations, leurs réussites et leurs échecs, leurs chances et leurs malchances. Ensemble, leurs histoires mettront en évidence des grands courants qui ont façonné notre pays et défini l'expérience canadienne. When it opens in 2017, the hall will present the story of Canada and its people more inclusively and comprehensively than ever before. The exhibition will be authentic, rich in artifacts, and engaging for visitors. And it will focus on human experience and explore stories through multiple perspectives and voices. We know that people and events from the past are subject to various interpretations, both historical and contemporary. In the extreme, one person's hero can be another's villain. One's triumph, another's tragedy. We won't draw conclusions for our visitors, but will instead present the facts through multiple viewpoints and voices. Consider the following list: the Plains of Abraham, Louis Riel, the flag debate, the conscription crisis, the Constitution debate that led to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. They all support the proposition that history is best understood when viewed through multiple lenses, and this is exactly what the Canadian History Hall will do. Canada's history is filled with stories that are passionate, important, moving, and inspiring. The possibilities were endless, and the choices were very difficult to make. The choice of stories to include in the hall was made by the museum's team of curators and historians with input from advisory panels of outside experts from across the country, some of whom, as I mentioned, are with us. They were also guided by the results of a major Canada-wide program of public engagement that the museum undertook at the outset of the project. Through various activities, over 24,000 Canadians shared with the museum their ideas of what stories matter to them. And engagement with the public continues, as we're currently asking Canadians to give us suggestions of images that will cover the hall's passage into the exhibition space, and details can be found on our website. The number of people who have fed into this project is unprecedented for our museum. This is truly an exhibition developed by Canadians for Canadians. Les commentaires que nous avons reçus de la part des Canadiens ont mis en lumière l'importance de plusieurs éléments qui ont joué un rôle déterminant dans le management de la nouvelle salle. Les Canadiens nous ont dit que nous devrions continuer d'intégrer une diversité de points de vue dans notre présentation de l'histoire canadienne et qu'il est important de raconter les histoires des peuples autochtones et celles des femmes. Pour ce qui est des artefacts, ils ont aussi demandé à voir des objets authentiques et non des reproductions. L'authenticité, dans tous les sens du terme, est de la plus haute importance dans la création de cette salle. And of course, content is only part of the equation. Another key element is the exhibition hall architectural design. Efforts on that front are being guided by Douglas Cardinal, the renowned architect who designed our building in the 1980s. And we will have the honor and pleasure of hearing momentarily from Mr. Cardinal on his vision for the new hall. In creating the new History Hall, Mr. Cardinal's original vision was kept front of mind, ensuring that the hall fits seamlessly into the building. Most notably from an architectural perspective, the new Canadian History Hall will better highlight the enormous expanse and soaring roof of the space. And more than ever before, the design will reflect the incredible size and grandeur of the country itself, in keeping with Douglas's original vision. We're honored to have him on board for this exciting redevelopment and to have him join us this morning. Douglas, would you please come up?
Oh, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This was a great opportunity for me to emphasize the original design that I had of the History Hall, and that is to create a very dramatic space that, in a sense, reflects sculpturally the expanse of this country. I wanted to make sure the space soared, the space was open to the other halls. I didn't want the space to be defined in a small, tight exhibit hall. I wanted it to flow into the other spaces. And so this was a great opportunity for me to emphasize the sculptural aspects of the space and form, for me to reflect this amazing country, its dramatic shapes, dramatic forms, and primarily its vast space. And that was what I wanted everybody to sense and feel when they went into that hall. I saw the form of the hall itself to reflect also the Ottawa River, the place here, which was always the center of this country for thousands of years. I wanted to reflect the Ottawa River, the Chaudière Falls, the Great Kettle, in the abstract sculptural form of the building, because I felt that always, for thousands of years, this was always the center, from the Atlantic to the Rocky Mountains, of all the original Anishinaabe people. For me, it's just a great opportunity that I see in displaying Canadians' history, not just from contact, which was how we envisioned history in the 80s when we put the hall together, but from thousands of years ago when people lived here and developed many amazing cultures on this land, even before contact. So the History Hall is all inclusive. And for me, it was a wonderful opportunity to meet with the exhibit designers, the people, the staff here, and to be able to carry, in a sense, everybody's vision through in the development of the design. It has been a collaboration of everybody's efforts, and I really look forward for you to see the end result, not the end result, the development, the progress of the design that you'll see. At least you'll get a preview of the dramatic space that we conceived together. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Doug. We're now going to hear from Jean-Marc Blais, the Director General of the Canadian Museum of History, who will provide some more detail about the content of the Canadian History Hall. Jean-Marc.
Merci Marc et bonjour mesdames et messieurs. Permettez-moi d'abord d'exprimer tout notre enthousiasme à la perspective de l'atteinte de cette étape dans l'élaboration de la salle de l'histoire canadienne. Nous travaillons à ce projet depuis plus de 3 ans déjà, depuis l'automne 2012. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes enfin en mesure de vous inviter à l'intérieur de la salle et de vous offrir un véritable aperçu du contenu et de la conception de l'exposition. We see this event as a significant milestone in the hall's development, and we are excited to have this opportunity to show you how far we have come since this project began. The details we are revealing today also confirm what Mark has said all along. The hall is going to be an extraordinary addition to this museum and to Canada Cultural's landscape. Let's start with the basic. The hall is divided into 3 galleries. Gallery 1 and 2 on the main floor, which is the floor on which we are right now, and Gallery 3 above on the mezzanine. The 3 galleries are connected by a central hub, an open space on the main floor. The hub serves as an orientation center, a meeting and resting place, and an access point for visitor services. And in fact, we are right now just by the entrance of this hall. The hall will just be opened behind these walls here. The 2 levels are connected by a wonderfully open and curving walkway, which you'll have the opportunity to see in a few moments. Both the walkway and the hub look like they were shaped by fast-flowing water. In fact, almost every vertical surface in the hall has the elegant, rounded lines that are so predominant in nature and in the design of this entire building. And as Douglas Cardinal just mentioned a few minutes ago. Les 3 galeries sont aménagées selon une structure chronologique. Mais l'exposition n'a rien d'une simple ligne du temps uniforme. Elle est un recueil de récits, 18 au total. Ces récits, évoluant d'une galerie à l'autre, sont conçus pour étonner et ravir les visiteurs. Ensemble, ils dévoilent à la fois à grands traits et dans le détail comment le Canada et sa population sont devenus ce qu'ils sont aujourd'hui. La mise en récit fait état des plus récentes découvertes dans divers domaines, que ce soit l'archéologie, l'ethnologie et l'histoire, et de différents courants, et rassemble le tout en une trame narrative dynamique et inspirante. The focus of Gallery 1 extends from earliest times to the British conquest in 1763. By earliest times, we mean the presence of first people on what is now Canadian soil. It explores the early presence of first peoples and their development of diverse and thriving societies from coast to coast to coast. It examines the initial adaptation by those societies after the arrival of Europeans, and it tells the story of how the British and the French competed for control of eastern North America with the help of their First Nations allies. This gallery's end point is 1763. That was the year France ceded Canada to Britain, and a royal proclamation redefined the relationship between First Nations and the Crown. La Galerie 2 est consacrée au Canada colonial de 1763 à 1914. L'accent est mis ici sur la façon dont le Canada est devenu un pays au sein de l'Empire britannique et comment il a fini par s'étendre d'un océan à l'autre. La traite des fourrures, la Confédération et le dernier crampon du chemin de fer, entre autres, occupent toute une place prépondérante dans cette période de l'histoire canadienne. Cette ère d'exposition porte aussi sur les relations complexes entre les Britanniques, les Canadiens et les peuples autochtones, parfois pour le meilleur, souvent pour le pire. Les vagues d'immigration qui ont transformé ce pays au début du 19e siècle y sont aussi mises en relief. Cette deuxième galerie se ferme sur la période de la colonisation massive des prairies. Gallery 3 is on the mezzanine and presents modern Canada from 1914 to the present. This gallery explores Canada's development into a prosperous, independent country. It also explores how we became an increasingly diverse and inclusive society. As the exhibition makes clear, it was not always a smooth and dignified process. The gallery highlights Canada's experience in the Two World War and the Great Depression. It traces the development and impact of Quebec nationalism, and it draws attention to the ongoing search for reconciliation between Canada and its First Peoples. It also shows our place in and contribution to the world. So that's a brief overview of the exhibition. So a few of the points are worth noting. The Canadian History Hall will feature about 1,800 artifacts. They will include a number of artifacts of Canada's finest historical treasures and cultural touchstones. This media-rich exhibition will also invite active participation by visitors with 65 interactives, by far the most we have ever included in a single exhibition. And overall, the exhibition will be supported by about 225,000 words of text. J'aimerais également souligner que c'est la firme montréalaise GSM Design qui réalise le formidable travail de conception de l'exposition. GSM n'en est pas à ses premières armes. C'est une firme qui a de nombreuses réalisations à travers le monde et elle trouve ses sources dans la conception de certains pavillons thématiques de l'Expo 1967 à Montréal. Je conclurai en répétant à quel point nous sommes heureux d'être arrivés à cette étape de l'élaboration de la salle. Il y a un peu plus de 3 ans, nous n'avons remis à nos conservateurs, historiens et planificateurs d'exposition ni plus ni moins qu'une page blanche. Nous leur avons demandé de voir grand pour proposer l'exposition la plus vaste, complète et captivante sur l'histoire canadienne à ce jour. On peut dire que cette page déborde maintenant. I can say on the museum behalf that we are proud of what our team has accomplished so far. We still have much to do, as you can see, as we move to the next phase of development, which is the building and installation of the exhibition. We're beyond excited about what lies ahead, and we look forward to welcoming you all back to the museum when we officially open the exhibition on July 1st, 2017. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
So we're now ready to begin the short visit of the Canadian History Hall construction site. Pour ceux et celles qui participent à distance, la web diffusion se termine ici. La pochette de presse et des images de la salle peuvent être téléchargées à même la page web diffusion. Vous pouvez également faire des demandes d'entrevue avec nos porte-paroles à partir du salon de clavardage. For those of you who are participating online, the webcast will end here. The press kit and images of the hall can be downloaded from the page. If you wish to organize interviews with some of our spokespeople, you're welcome to ask through the chat room. Monsieur Blais will now direct you into the exhibition space. We'll proceed by making our way to the doors located to your right. Only the mezzanine and part of the lower floor are accessible. So for safety reasons, please remain in the marked areas. Seule la mezzanine et une partie du niveau principal sont ouvertes. Pour des raisons de sécurité, nous vous demandons de rester dans les zones indiquées. As usual, if you'd like to organize interviews after the visit, please see Patricia Lynch or Stéphanie Werner. Mr. O'Neill, Mr. Cardinal, and Mr. Blais will be available. Pour des entrevues après la visite, vous pouvez vous adresser à Patricia Lynch ou Stéphanie Werner. Monsieur O'Neill, Monsieur Cardinal, Monsieur Blais sont disponibles. Also available are my colleagues, Dr. David Morrison, right there, if you can, yeah, thank you. Director of Research and Content for the Canadian History Hall. Madame Chantal Amillot, the Projects Director. Et Madame Lisa Leblanc, Director of Creative Development and Learning. Et nous avons aussi avec nous Monsieur François Bellumeur de la firme GSM qui pourra aussi répondre à vos questions. Alors, thank you very much and bonne visite. Have a nice visit. Thank you.